Let me start giving you an overview, and then we'll come back to do some of the details. What we would like to accomplish today is prepare those of you who are coming, and if you're not, you can participate via the electronic networks for the Limited Israel. We had a very rough year this year, exacerbated by, of course, the war and all sorts of logistical difficulties. Those of you who are coming, there'll be lesser kamos, but the Eichus, of course, will remain the same. So I am looking forward to helping learn with you in the course of whatever we have left for this week and next week. So the topic, Barak mentioned, the topic this year is Shomrim. So Shomrim is a very complex and complicated topic. Why did we pick this topic? Last year, Chesh Mishpat, the limit of Chesh Mishpat worked well. As I've said on a fairly large number of occasions, it works well because people are interested in it. It works less well because it's somewhat more complex, as you know. It covers, it's based on the Sugyas. It covers in Unim, in primarily in Ezekiel, but I'm Seder Nashim too, where the amount of shitos and the amount of writings and the amount of limud this is an opinion. All of the Torah is rich and beautiful. So it's not really proper for anybody, especially somebody in my limud, to say that this Chelik Shulchan Aruch is any different than the other Chelik Shulchan Aruch. But Chesed Mishpat is very complex. I remember hearing this from my Reinu about Minchas Hashem when we asked him to say in Chesed Mishpat. And his response was Chesed Mishpat Balabatim. I said, what's the shver? He says the Chesed Mishpat is more complex. Why is it more complex? So, first of all, Chesed Mishpat, unlike Aracham and Yeridea, we are dealing primarily with the Rabbi Shalom and what he wants us to do in the Kiyum of Mitzvahs. And Chesed Mishpat, you're dealing with Basar V'Dams, whatever the plural of that is. And that means that in the fields of Nezikin, damages, torts, the Yuvim of Shomrim and Seichrim and Mekach Memkar and Shchimran and Veda Metzia and Nachles, etc. All of those, there's always two sides to the story. And therefore, the Paiskim, that's what I heard from him, the Paiskim also have inserted more svaras. So in addition to the Shitas and the Rishonim, as we'll see in a little bit later, Lamashal Mesamach Malacha has several central machlekes in the Rishonim. There's always cases. Now, you can say there are cases in the Rechaim Yeridei too, of course. In Yeridei, you know, the milk fell into the pot. There's 100 different variations of Ilchas Terubis. That's true. But you know, when our koil, our daily koil, we're learning, we finish mezuzah, we're learning tefillin. The mezuzah is not talking back to you. There isn't an entire generally over the mezuzah. You got to get exactly where to put the mezuzah on your doorpost. But there's no tayin v'nitn on that. Yes, there's mucham t'shotayra within the paiskim, but there's no tayin v'nitn that adds to the ribia shitas and the complexity. I will give you an example just by referring to it now, even though hopefully we'll see it sometime in the next 2 hours. And that's the case of the war, the case of the weaponry. That is a general machlekes in the Paiskim, which is based on real life stories in the medieval times, probably, I don't know when. We know when the machlekes arose, but we don't know exactly when the story of the marauding bands of cattle rustlers in assume Germany, since it's in the Trimsadeshan, that's where Trimsadeshan lived. We don't know exactly where that took place, but it took place. And there was a tain of a nitten, which ended up in a machlekes shach and sma, which, as I said, even though there are many shitais in every mitzvah, here you have a back and forth. Who said what to whom? What exactly the terms of the shayla are? What's the meis machmalacha? Now let's go to the shitas of meis machmalacha. The kitzur, it's a lot more complicated. When we announced Shaimrim, it took me months and months to try to figure out a topic. I'm just going to spend a minute or two just giving the element insight why we did this. When we announced Shaimrim, really, I understood, obviously, that this is going to be too big. Hilchos Pikadon starts in Choshen Mishpat Siman Reish Tzadik Aleph. It ends, Hilchos She'ela ends in Shin Mem Zayin. That's 57 Simanim Shulchan Aruch. Last year we did one siman. So the question arose, how are we possibly going to do this? The answer is we're not. We're obviously not going to cover all of Hilchos Shaimrim. What we're going to cover in the week that we're there and the ensuing, maybe the night Shiur, some of the night Shiur, between now and then, is oblique. I have mentioned this to you before to some of my colleagues. I have Yerushalmi friend, not the Rabbi Parkoff was an imported Yerushalmi, a real Yerushalmi, and he calls these type of overview type of things a kais cognac, which is a small shot in a shot glass of the beautiful limud which Hilchos Shaimrim is. I will tell you, I was inspired to this last year. And I told this to Rav Malkiel. Ben Shugavaya learned Hilchos Shaimrim in Perek Shayel last year. Shayel, bit of a mafkid for a whole zman. And my children, I have 3 children, and the entire family was converted into Shaimrim because that's what my kids talked about. And that's where they were, and that's where they were holding. And much more than that, it wasn't just my children. The entire city of Lakewood somehow became a makom or shaimrim were wafting all around in the air. I'm sure the same is true in Yerushalayim, near Kodesh too. So it was so geschmack, and it was so interesting, and it was so beautiful. And so many good combination of alumnus and I said, let's see if we can try a shaimrim. But as I said, it fails in any type of havamina or cholam that you're really going to understand everything is about Shaimrim. So what do? So we decided to refocus, kept the name Shaimrim, because that's the general name of the topic, but we're refocusing Be'ikr on 2 topics, Shayo with a bit of Shaimrim Sachar. Why? Because as you'll hear in the next few minutes, Shaimrim Chinam, while important, doesn't have the Lamaisa business aspects. If you remember, for those of you who are offline to Eretz Yisrael, and I'm sure there's some of you, I know there's some of you that I'm staring at, make sure at the airport, when either you have to use the facilities or somebody you don't know has to use the facilities, be very careful about the suitcase. Be very careful what you say to whom. What do I mean by that? Michael Hachanah is staring at me. You'll hear in a few moments that the Kabbalah Shmira of Hashem Chinam is a very complex thing. How does that happen? When does Shmira start, etc.? Okay, but Hashem Chinam is reasonably not so complex in its Lemaisa, even though there are, of course, probably scores, if not hundreds of lux associated with Shem. The action is in Shayel and in Shem B'Sachar. So those are the 2 places that we will be hearing most of our Shiur on. In order to understand what the Chiyuvim of a Shayel and the Shem B'Sachar are, you have to understand what a Shaymer is. In order to understand what a Shaymer is, you have to understand what is the Kabbalah Shmira of a Shaymer. So now I'm going to generally lay out for you in the next 2 3 minutes, for those who are you're going, who's going to be speaking on what. We had a little bit of scheduled juggling to do because of some unfortunately timed late entrance and competition that took away some of our Magide Shiurim to a side trip to Europe, to some sort of extravaganza. So normally we introduce the Lomdis, the Psicha will be done by the Rav, who's Rabbi who's coming back on Monday, day earlier from America, just to speak to us. So he's going to do Psicha. When I discussed it with him, it turned out that it's impossible for him to cram anything worthwhile into Shomrim in 1 hour. So he's going to do a Psicha on the Yisoid of the Yischayvus of Shomrim. The Yisoid of the Yischayvus of Shomrim. I may speak a little bit to that just to give you an overview of what he'll be speaking about a little bit later. In addition, a day later, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a little bit day later, should have been Tuesday, but it'll be Wednesday. David Cohen is going to speak to the same thing, the lumdis of what constitutes Kabbalah Shmira. Why is a person, and when does a person, and how does a person become a shamer? Because that requires a meeting of the minds between the two parties. When does that meeting of the mind take place? Does it require a kinyan? It doesn't require a mashicha. And 3 Gemaras, 2 of them off-site in Sugyas and Perigulinaris. 1 Millionaires and 1 Taisis and Nafalpi. The Halacha Lamaisa will be introduced on Tuesday morning by Rav Weiss and Chelik Sheni, and we've asked him to speak about Shoyl, so hopefully he'll do Mesamachs Malacha, maybe a bit of She'edim B'Bailim. Rav Nissen Kaplan will talk further on Hilchos Shoyl in his inimitable way. We have night shiur by the Lakewood Dayanim of Mesharim, who have agreed to come along, and we're going to have our panel that we had last year on Hilchos Shomrim. And on Tuesday night, are you coming?
What time? When
Are you coming?
when
Really?
I have to find out what it is.
Oh, will you be there at Israel?
Oh, this is happening in Israel?
This is all happening in Israel.
No.
Okay, you're not coming to Israel. Sorry. Okay, so the night shiur, we're not negated. Oh, maybe they are. Yeah, could be. I don't know if the plans to broadcast them back live, but they will be archived and reference. Everybody's not coming. The kids are, Rabbi say, let's see how many people are on 18. Okay, so let's start learning. On Wednesday, we will be here sharing by Rabbi Spitzer. We'll be talking about Hilchos Shoyl Mesamachs Malachal in Svarim. Wednesday afternoon, there will be the panel. Thursday, Thursday will be Rabbi Kalas will speak about Shem Sachar. Rabbi Cohen will speak about Shem Sachar. We're kind of devoted Thursday to Shem Sachar after the 3 days of Shoyl. That's the general way of dividing up this thing. So I'm going to focus here on a bit of what constitutes Kabbalah Shmira. I won't have time to go into any detail at the moment on David Cohen or of Asher Weiss's fundamental shiurim. I'm just going to give you the basic overview, and then a bit about Shoyl and Shem Sachar. So, as I said, Chosh Mishpat Hilchos Pikadain starts in Reish Tzadik Aleph with Dinei Shomer Chinam, and the heading of Reish Tzadik Aleph is Dinei Shomer Chinam Me'ema Sai Mischai V'Shmira the Ketzad Hi HaShmira. What does that mean? So let's start here with to my friend Mordechai. We're going to start with the original Marmakaimis scans that I sent In the beginning, with reading you, go through the psukim in Chumash, which constitutes basically all Hilchos She'ela. And pasuk in Chav Beis Vav this week's parsha, Kit Nishas last week's parsha, Kesav Akem Lishmar. As always, instantaneously, the right thing shows up. This is a halacha of the first part of the pasuk of Shmira and the second part of the pasuk of Tayin Tainus Ganav. Ganav, the nikar of Balabayis Olikim, and Leishalach Adam Lechsbrei. This is where the word Shlichus Yad comes from. As those of you who've heard the Shiur until now know, the Shlichus Yad is a negative aspect of which a shomer is moyel in his chiyuvei shmira, each one on his level, by doing something called shlichus yad. Shlichus yad means that he improperly uses the bekadim that was nifkad with him. So you'll say, okay, that makes sense. I can understand how you can be sheleach yad, assuming you are maybe maybe even a seicher. But how can there be shlichus yad and shayel? After all, shayel, you can do whatever you wish. What does shlichus yad and shayel mean? What does meleches re'eu mean? Fine. Next pasuk. Kol pesha shar kamar se salmo al kol avoda ashayomer kiyu zeh. Shalom shnayim re'eu. In pasuk tes. Because we have another yitain. If you see the similarity to the Vav that you saw a moment ago, it says ki yitain. Here too, we have another parsha, and the Chazal struggle with figuring out what the difference in the parshas are. And here, instead of a Caleb, Kesav a Caleb, it's Shariseh. B'chol behema. Why three? Why exactly is Shariseh b'chol behema? So Chazal have to speak to that. And the pasuk says, "Mesa nishba ein roya." So I want to focus here on the Rashi's here that are negated to us, because the Rashi's are pasuk vav through ches are beikar and geneva and tain has ganav and kefil. But here in the second parsha, the Rashi's are telling us a lot of information. Let me finish the psukim. Shuas Hashem tiyeh ben shneim. All of a sudden, there's now a chiyuv shluya. So we know Rabbi say this is very important. There's a chiyuv shluya deraisa for a shomer. What is the chiyuv? What is the shluya that a shomer has to be nishba? So let's hear it. A lot of you have been hearing me blather on for the last month. So by now, some of this should be clear. Anybody want to participate and tell me what we have learned about what the chiyuvei shmira, which constitute a chiyuv strong enough to require a shua? What kind of shua are we talking about? Anybody?
Well, the first shua is shlichas yad, shloishalach yad. That's the first shua.
Oh, they're good. Zak the Barish, first of all, the Farish and Pasuk. Let's make them as all chashaylis. Shua shloishalachti bayad. That's what we see in the Pasuk. What other shua may there be? Think pasuk's vav through ches, because again, it's going to be hard, but you'll have to coordinate the overlap between the two parshiyos, and we'll see what parsha Rishon and parsha Shniya means. What other shua may there be?
Moed v'miktzas.
Yeah, that's the
Moed v'miktzas embedded. Yeah, Moed v'miktzas is very much embedded in this parsha. Moed v'miktzas is embedded in this parsha, but that's not Moed v'miktzas. Magic is learning that now. He's spent the entire winter Moed v'miktzas and Halach. Michelle Hirsch is a little bit under the weather. Said a Shiur in Halach last week, but that's not the topic of this year's Hachanah. Maybe another year. Moed v'miktzas is learned for these psukim, but it's not right necessarily to get a shemer. The other thing I'm talking about is, since there's Geneva and Aveda, what happened if the Shomer, whether it's the Shemachir, any one of the Shomer, decided to convert the object to his own use. Not Shlichus Yad, just tining that it's gone. So there, you need to know where the Chayvetz is. So there's a Shvua called Shvua She'enoi Bershusi. The Shomer has to swear that it's not around. I didn't convert it. I didn't take it. That's another form of a Shvua. There's a third form of a Shvua, which we'll see. Right now, we can hold off. And the pasuk says, "V'lakach ba'olav v'lo yisham." Says Rashi. Parsha Rishayna Nam Rabbi Shemachinam. L'fichach pater b'yis geneva. We're going to soon see the basic Mishnah, which goes through the various halachas of the various Shomrim. But Rashi HaKadosh is telling us the two parshas have to be read sequentially. The first parsha is talking about a Shemachinam, and therefore geneva is pater. As the pasuk says, "V'guna bebeisa ish." Hagana v'nikra bal habayis, says the pasuk l'shvua.
Gottesman, you're on mute.
Sometimes when I get carried away, the malach comes back and says, "Calm down," and I'm going to cut off your noise, your voice. Okay, so we're restored, Baruch Hashem. So it says Rashi. There's a halacha of a shemachinam, and a shemachinam is pater and geneva. We'll see the various gradations in a second. The shua tells you that the guy's sword wasn't stolen. It was stolen. Therefore, I'm sorry, it was stolen, and I have no chiyuv anymore of shemachinam. That is the first parsha, and that's why the entire psukim between Vav and Ches talk about geneva. This parsha is Shaina Amura B'Shem Sachar. Third parsha we'll see in a moment. As you can see, there's two psukim starting in Gimel. Fichach ain't a paiter as a geneva. As the pasuk says, "Gunev Yiganav Me'ima Yishali." But on the oinus, such as Meis Me'atzmai, a nishba b'chazak al yidei listim. Now Rashi says we have a concept of einus. Einus is pater in all shomrim, except, as we'll see, obviously, except for a shayel. So you can swear that there was no einus and you're pater. Zok the next pasuk. What's the shua? Use b'shekenu k'dvar v'shalach bayad l'shtamash b'atzlai shem shalach bayad v'archa kaknes l'chayvayis. So, okay, everybody say. Very important Rashi. Rashi says that there was Shlichus Yad, and subsequently there was an Einus, you're chayiv. What does that mean from a Lamdisha point of view? Rabbi, yes, what does that mean? You shalech bayad, and then you chayiv afterwards for Einus. What does that mean? It means what?
You were kind of it. It became yours.
No, it's his. It
Everybody
becomes
else
his.
out there,
It becomes his.
Your answer is right, but I want to try to see if we can get everybody else involved. So Rabbi Eliezer, over the last 3 years, has become one of my chief lovable targets for air raids. He knows that. So I'm going to try to see if I can get him involved. Eliezer, open your mic. What happened there?
Rabbi Gottesman, you're on mute again.
Not on mute. Sorry. I was falsely accused. Can you hear me?
Yes, fine.
Okay, Eliezer, no, Zog Alam the
They
stuff.
said it. If he's chai ba'is, and it's a kinyan more than he had.
The shlich, this yad creates a kinyan. What kind of kinyan is it? From Eric, Yitzchak. What kind of kinyan is it? Where does your kinyan here? The teretz is
Kinyan counseling.
there's something called kinyan, genev, and gezela. The meiser for this, say Chazal, is shlichus yad, which is the form of genev and gezela, because you were given a pikadain under the gradations of the 4 chiyuvim of shleimrim. By being shleach yad this pikadon, what'd you do? You created a geneva or a gezela. So you took it, and now you are chayiv b'oitz. As I state in Rashi, and this is a 2 sugyas in the Gemara and a mafkit and later. Okay, let's finish the Rashi. Lakach bal of a shua, strange thing. Baum gets a shua. What's the implications of the open up your mic again, Beresh? Because now I'm going to target you. What's the implications of the lakach ba'olim on the shua? What does that mean?
I don't understand the question.
What does it mean? V'lakach ba'olav hashvua. What does that mean? A bissel chumash Rashi from unser when we were in
If he swears, if he's willing to swear, which swears, then he's potter.
Yeah, okay, no, but I'm trying to get to Lumdus, but let's go quicker, I guess. The pasuk is telling Chazal telling you that shvua is a right, right?
Oh,
Shvua is a right. If it's a shvua deraisas are not nishboin ben meitlin. All know this. Shvua deraisas are nishboin ben niftarin. The shvua is a right that the shamer has to swear. It's also a right that the masket has to impose upon him. You must swear. So the bailam of the Bekadin has to be satisfied with taking the shvua. The shvua is an economic asset. You understand? It's an economic asset. Why is that? Because it's imposing on the shamer a chiyuv to swear in order to be partner. Says the pasuk, "V'lakach ba'olav lo yisha." Shamer klub. Everybody understand the implication of this pasuk? Yeah. Beautiful. Im tarif v'tarif al deichayra, yiviu 8. Yes, shayfer shemashal, yes, shayfer mashal. So Chazal and the Gemara in Daf Tet Gimel says there's various types of meitzim. Shayfer chatul v'shul v'nim v'nemiya mashal, because that's something which you could have protected against a cat. But a wolf or an ari, ain't a mishalim. V'milach shech lodin kain, the pasuk says a mesa nishba or nishba. Ma misa she'ein yachol lahatzil, av shever v'shviya she'ein yachol lahatzil. Ad kan. And then the third parsha is talking about Shiur. We'll get to Shiur in a moment. Let's first finish with Hashem Saksham Mechina. On Tzadik Dalet of the Beis, the Mishnah, the Gemara brings the basic Mishnah. It's a little bit of a re-referencing, a basic Mishnah of the four Chiyuv Mishem. Tan Hasan. Arba Shem Rimheim. Now, this is the Cheshmish part. We should have the Gemara somewhere of Tzadik Dalet of the Beis. Even though it's a Mishnah earlier, can you see if you can hunt down this Gemara somewhere? It should be in the package here somewhere. I would have assumed it's the next page. We have Tzadik Dalet. Who is in charge of who's doing the screen sharing today, or Pesach? Is that you? You don't have all the literature because it came in at night. So I don't know if you have all of it. Let's see what you got. All right, we can use that Mishnah. Tzadik on base. I need Tzadik on the base. We're getting closer. No, we don't have everything here. Okay, let's improvise. Let's go back to this Rabbi Shapiro, who I had the honor of seeing last night. Excellent. Okay. Oh, and Pseic, yeah, the Rav is here. Go chase him down. Okay. Go back to the previous page. Go back to the previous page where we have the. Okay, Tanasam. Arba Shem Rehem. Okay, we got it. Arba Shem Rehem. Shem Echinam.
Where is it?
Tanasam, line 6, line 7. Tanasam. Arba Shem Rehem. Shem Echinam v'Hashayel Neisisach v'Haseicher. It's a little odd why the Mishnah would put it in this order, because after all, the order of Psukim, Shail comes last, but we'll see why. Shem Echinam, want to make this yellow, please? Shem Echinam Nishba al Akoyel v'Hashayel Mishal Masakoyel. Neisisach v'Haseicher Nishboin al Shul Shuyah. So the Chazal decided to position the issues of whether or not you are properly carrying out your Shmirah and what the gradations of what the chiyuv are off the chiyuv of a shayil. By telling of shvua, by telling you what the shvua patters, now you know what you're chayiv with. Shayil mishal misakol meisisachar v'aseicher nishbayin al shvura v'al shvuya v'al mesa u'mishal v'asaveda v'sagneva. Dr. Rashi. I'm just debating here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take you through the Gemara here, and even though we saw it in the Rashi, it'll take us a few seconds. Menani Mili, Tanur Rabbanan Parsha Rishayim Nember B'Shem B'Chinam B'Shem B'Sachol she says B'Shayim. And the Gemara says B'Shem B'Forish B'Chiyish Lishmei Shareyu. Just to mark it, if you can get a market down, that would be help. Or Shayim B'Shem B'Chinam B'Shem B'Seichar. How do you know that? And the Gemara goes on to tell you how we know that which parsha is which, and then the Gemara comes here into the first wide line and says a very important yesod. Teda negate us. The Hashayel call Hanoah Shalai. Ve'enam Shalom Elikaret. Hashayel has to pay Karen. Rabbi say, okay, Rabbi, you brilliantly volunteered to step into the shoes of my chabrusa here to help Eilam out. So go along with me. Sometimes where I'm trying to take you Socratically is totally mysterious. So play along with me, if you don't mind. What is the Gemara trying to tell you here when the Gemara says, Kol hashal, kol hana shaloi, ve'ein mishalom esakeren? What does it mean?
Elikaret.
Elikaret, what does it mean? What do you
Elikaret.
Sorry. What does that mean? What does that mean? So there's a lumdus here embedded here, obviously. What Chazal telling you is both an halacha, a kol hana shaloi, but they're also telling you a lumdus of ein mishalom esakeren. The first place I thought is Rashi HaKadosh, before I interrogate Rav Berish. The Hashayel kol hana shaloi, shebechinam hu oiseh melach dai. Ubai hayalai lahach mer yaiser. Now the Rashi is the bottom bed. Shebechinam hu oiseh melach dai. Says Rashi, the Bechinim hu oiseh melach dai. V'hayalai lahach mer yaiser. V'chivay al tainistan ugarin karen b'lei shvua. Lei patrai v'shua kadei le'avil de kefil. Totally mysterious Rashi. What does Rashi mean to tell you here? Rashi seems to be saying, I'm sorry.
If he swears,
If he swears false, he ends up being a ganef and he has to pay kefil.
What does that mean?
If he swears false,
Why is okay?
He doesn't have a chance to swear. He doesn't. He doesn't have to swear for it because he's chayiv. You only swear to pater yourself, not to pay tashlumin. A shayil is chayiv on everything, so he doesn't have to swear. If he says it's geneva, no, so you have to pay. You say it's einus, you have to pay.
pay for
You have to
everything.
pay. So there's no reason to swear. One who swears and finds he's a liar pays kefil. So
Meaning
the
the halach, the pale yaitza is that there's no kefil because there's no reason to swear that it was gegambit, because it was gegambit, he still is required to return it. So the Mitzvah says you're not getting the kefil. Good. But what comes out of this in the lumdus point here? Because it's always embedded here is a lumdus. And the Gemara says, I really should learn another line too with you. So let's first do that, and then we'll come back to put the lumdus on the table. Vashayel kol ashalai. Gemara says, what do you mean? How can that be? By mizayna, while you're borrowed a behemoth, you got to feed it. I said the kaim of agam. We're buying the tira, but not our mosa. Be by sema, leitema kol ashalai, ella ema roiv hana ashalai. Be by sema, b'shilas kalib, nice sachar, v'asaychar, nishban al shvur, v'al al mesa, mashaman asaveda v'saganeva. Says Rashi. Sorry, it says Taishus. No, I'm sorry. Let me finish with Shail since I've opened up the door with you for Shail. So what the Gemara is telling you here is that a Shail, as Rabbi said correctly, doesn't have any Turim. So the swearing l'chayra is not negated to a Shail, because a Shail is Chayiv Einzin. So what case would he be potter? Yet, nevertheless, we could find that a Shail can be Shaleach by Yad. What is Shlichus Yad for a Shail? Shail's Chayiv Einzin. Teretz is, without getting the schlep further because we don't have a lot of time, there are major B'turim of the Shail. What are the two major B'turim of the Shail that we're going to be focusing on this week? On Thursday, as I said, we will be focusing on
Levimai.
Mesa
on
Machmalacha and
Shmir
Sheilas
B'Bailim. There are two major focusing Turim of Shayel, which we'll get to in the second hour. One is Mesa Machmalacha. One is Baal of Imai. So in those cases, the Chiyuv B'Oitzin is overridden, right? It's overridden because all of a sudden we have a tour. But what happens if within the rubric of Mesa Machmalacha or Sheila B'Bailim, Baal of Imai, all of a sudden you have, which are Turim, you have a Shlichus Yad or something that was improperly done even within the rubric of Shayel. I'm just putting this on the table. I've discussed this with Eilam at night, but I know there's a lot of
that's a Mashana.
Atazai, a Meshana under the Gedarim of a Shayel, which means a Mashal, before the meaning of the minds is created to create the Shmir, which we'll talk about in a moment. Before it's Nichnas or Shusay has a right, the Chayra, to impose conditions. As we'll see in the introductory shiurim, there are abilities for the shayrim to upgrade themselves in chiyuvim. That's called masneh. Masneh, condition. Here Yitzchak. Masneh shemechinam liyais keshemesacha. Masneh shemechin im liyas keshayah. Why would you do that? Okay, good question, but you can. So we see a lot of Hilchos Shmir, like the rest of Hilchos Mishpat, depends on the meeting of the minds of the two parties. You can upgrade it, can't downgrade it in general cases. You can, as was said earlier by, I think it was by Shlomo Yosef, you can be Meshana within even the Schaivesin of a Shayel, which was.
Oh my God. You should say all those.
You should know by now I say Shiur all morning. So I would like to talk to you, but I'll try later in the afternoon. Okay, is that okay? Important. What thing? What thing? 3 and 5. Okay. Okay. So let's get back to this. So the meaning of the minds here in Shayel emanates from the fact that L'chara on the Lamdus side, the object that was borrowed gets transferred to the Rishus of the Shayel, as we said earlier, and therefore the Chiyuv of a Shayel is not really Midin Shaymer. Because as we saw, Chaim Brisker explains, what's the Chiyuv inherent in every Shaymer? Chiyuv inherent in every Shaymer is twofold. I don't know if we'll get to it in the side, but I'll read it ice. The Chiyuv of every Shaymer is totally on the Chiyuv of every Shaymer is totally on a Chiyuv Shmira to do what he's supposed to do on the Hilchos of Shmira. And the second is his
return
lahagzer, to return the chayfetz to where it was. In the case of Shemachina Masham, you return the chayfetz that was nifkat to you, and you're returning it without an shlichus yad, and you have to swear that. In the case of a shayel, you have to return something to him. Now, if it was neschayib, if it was nenas with a zev, or an ari, then the thing may not be around anymore. So then you have to return equivalent value, not kefil, because you didn't steal it, but it was nenas. The nenas doesn't get you off the hook. And the Gemara even has a discussion about shvarim, who owns the shvarim. In the case of Oinus, which a kli was broken, but the mashil has to be made whole, and that raises the question of Shia. Says Taisvis, Shamachina Nishbal Akayel, Lechashim Shia, the Bahakulu Chayavim, Vashayel, Mishalem Es Hakayel, Mashahuska Beparsha, Abu Mesa Machamas Malacha. So Shayel has to pay in everything. Meisamach Malacha, Kivin Shashayel, Yeshler, Rishus, Lasses, Bamalacha Pot. The Taisa introduces here the concept of Meisamach Malacha. Since the Shayel is Mechuyev to be to work, it's not Mechuyev, is allowed to work with it. As the Gemara says, Kol Shnei Shalai, that's Potter, and therefore there's no Pshia. What about if a Shayel was Paisheya? Can he still invoke Mesa Machas Malacha and or Shmir B'Bailim? This is a Shayla we'll have to discuss, and we'll discuss it hopefully in the second part of this year. Let's now focus on when a Shmir starts and how it starts. So there's a Taisus in Baba Kama Daf Tzadik Gimel Amar Aleph.
Wrong Baba.
Taisus says, I don't have time to go into the Okimta of the Gemara, but Taisus says here on the left
Baba Kama.
side, I wish I could, but I don't have time to go into it. We went through it at night. Taisus says that you under a chiv, but the Gemara has a
We have the wrong Baba on the screen.
I think it's right.
oh sorry, I need Tzadik Gimel Baba Kama. You should have it there in the package, original package. If not, I'll write it nice. Okay, because from there we're going to go to the Muhammad's. I think we had it. This is all in the original package from the first set of Shiur. So Tyson there has a Gemara which says a person is mechli to be shomer and not lekraya, not to have it torn up. So if somebody gives a chayvah to his friend and the guy tells him to tear it up, you potter. Says Tyson. Why? Listen, the potter from Shia, you don't need a pasuk with that. Because as long as he hasn't said clearly, I want to be shomer this chayfetz, you're not chayiv nivu a pasheya. Because the word pshia means that you
Violated.
you were mile in what the obligation you had was. Yes, Lima. Dagman ton of Layla cry. Dealer by a lifter should have him Shia. My area normally I'm not sakraya. Feel lamlay. I'm not sakraya. Shalamlay blush and shmir a potter. Could the darsh mechot and lishmar of shemaimer ad sheyafket etz light. Faces comes up with the limud that in order to become a shaymer lachefetz, you have to have an obligation of shmira. Because the word pshia is inherent only in the shmira rubric. If I'm a shaymer in something, I can start analyzing if I was peshea or not. Without an absolute explicit kabbalah shmira, you're not a shaymer. Which goes back, and I only can't in the night of Hachanah Shiur, we went through the case of the suitcase at the airport in some detail. But just use that as a paradigm. In order to become even a Shemer Chinam, there has to be, according to halacha, explicit Kabbalas Shmira. This is explicated in the Rishonim based on this Sugyas in Baba Kama, which is not a Sugyas which one would assume is core to Hilchei Shmira, but the Gemara and the Rishonim use this akimta to give you this. You say that a Shemer is not a Chayiv until the mafkid specifically says, please watch it for me. Or, and here's where the complications come, which I'm just going to refer to. I can't go into all of them in detail. The Siba, looking at a whole, looking at this from an overview of all the context of what's going on, is sufficient to constitute a Kabbalah Shmira. Look at the lesson of the Muhammad's. I believe we have it here, Martcha. Muhammad in this sugya of Kamataf Tzadik Gimel. No, it's should be here. Let's go look for it. If not, I'll read it ice. It's only a few lines here in the Muhammad, so maybe I should read it ice. The Muhammad says the following lashon. Listen to this lashon. She'ein ha'shaymer la'ilam chayiv. Ha'shaymer dan chayiv ha'shaymer le'shmoyer. There has to be explicit Kabbalah Shmira. Oy be'inyan shestam b'nei adam mashma lashon Shmira. Aval mafkin stam, and we're back to our unlovable suitcase. Vadei potter. Eichis chayiv. V'loi loi omer loi lishmor. V'hamar galei b'puma d'rabbanan b'gemara d'shmor li karmer la'ilam. V'tanalei b'hedya mechilton. The Ramban brings the same mechilta in this week's, I keep on saying this week because Sunday is still this week's Parsha. Parshas Mishpatim, where the Gemara says, where the Mechilta says clearly, "L'olam einei chayiv at she'emer loi heich shmar zi." Avalamalei ein nechal zeh. Okay, we spent an entire evening discussing the diukim of l'shaynai. So we'll see how the Mechaber brings it in the first siman in Hilchos Mikadayin. But if a person, a mashkin said, "Shmar li ein nechal zeh," keep an eye on this. And Rabbi say the case of the suitcase in the airport was perfect for this. Keep an eye on this. You don't become a shayma chinam, patur. And then Ramban goes on to analyze the sugya on that basis. Says the Mechaber in Reish Tzadik Aleph in the first siman of Shmira. Shayma chinam patur b'shvua migneva veda. As you saw in the Mishnah, I'm looking for the Shulchan Aruch, and it's disappeared here. It was on a moment ago. Shulchan Aruch on Reish Tzadik Aleph. Shulchan Aruch, Choshen Mishpat, Simon Reish Tzadik Aleph, Sif Beis. No, Rabbi say, I think we have this on the screen. It was there a moment ago. Ramarcha, I think I saw it there.
Yeah, when we had it, as you scroll through.
There you go. Reish Tzadik Aleph, Reish Tzadik Aleph.
And it was surely slow.
Go back to Reish Tzadik Aleph. Mashiach B'Sharm will be very important for Rabbi Weiss and Rabbi Cohen's Shiur. Here we go. No. We have Reish Tzadik Aleph. I am 1,000% sure. No. In the all the way in the first package. This is all the way at the end. We have Reish Tzadik Aleph, the first siman of Shulchan Aruch. I'm sorry to do this to Rabbi Shapiro, who's usually a genius at coming up with all this, but in this case, we knew there would be a shtickle balagan here because we're putting together about 5 different things. It would be page 13. Page 13. You're already in Shem Sachar, and we're still in Shem Chinam. Okay, while you look for it, it was page 13. While you look for it, we're using the syllabus of the base of that. I'll read it out loud. Shem Chinam. What's a Shem Chinam? Says the Mechaber. L'sheif ketzle kesem akelim behema. The psukim called the relishma behu kibul olav l'shaymrai. He had to be mekabel to be shaymer the chvaitzim. I feel like kiblei beferish. Ella sha'amalei hanach lefanai hu shaymer chinam. Imalei hanach lefanecha. Hanach stam. Sha'amalei arei habayis lefanecha. Afilu shayner chinam lehava ve'enai chayev shua klal. L'shayner are very wichtig. And then the Mechaber goes on to Aval machram al mishalak b'kadon shaloi v'yagzer lebalav. You mechuyev to take a b'kadon and return it to the bail. And then the mechaber goes into various iyunim on what constitutes the exact lashon of Kabbalah Shmira. Shem Mechinim is chayiv by saying Hanach lefonai. If he said Hanach stam, the omission of that one word means he's not mechayiv in the Shmira at all. The Nesivis, there you go, beautiful. I'm sorry to do this to my partner and everything, and any tiny Batzis Torah that we do is only dependent on Rabban Shapiro and Letterreich and others. So I'm sorry to battle down with you. That's why I mentioned that we're going to be using the several packages together. Okay, and the second part of the Shiur, after 11, we'll use the two Shayel things. I just want to emphasize to the Elam that Rabbi Weiss and Rabbi Cohen are going to talk about what constitutes a person entering into the Shmira contract. They're going to talk about the Lumdis. There's going to be several important Gemaras in Sugyas, Gemara in Sugyas Daf Lavandal and Taisus and Perek Afalpi, which talk to this. Both of them will be mentioning that Taisus. And the important Rashba. All this we'll have to see the Hemshach. But here, the Mechaber distills a lot of these Rishitas Rishonim, as you can see, I feel like Kibbul Beferish, in other words, it doesn't have to say Harein Ani Mekabel Shmira. He can even say Hanach Lefanai, L'Shem Rechinam. Ava Amalei Hanach Lefanecha, Hanach Stam. All of a sudden, or even the Mechaber says Sha'amalei Harei Abayis Lefanecha. All of a sudden, you see, I feel L'Shem Rechinam Lehamani. He quotes a Rambam. Vein a Chayiv Shul Klal. There's no Chayiv Shul, and he says you need to be Macham to get this back. So you see Rabbi say that Kabbalah Shmira requires a men's rate, requires a meaning of the minds. Said in the Sivas in the ice space, it says Kol Davar Lishmar. Why? Because if you were not miyached a place minastam, you become the V'lo Yachad Le'Makai, which minastam tzarech shmiras bailam nasa shomer b'stam. But shiyachad le'makam shmira she'ein tzarech shmiras bailam. If the nifkad told him, "I want you to put it here in this room," that requires paradoxically a higher degree of Kabbalah shmira, and then you're only chayiv if you said shemayr li. Because you're trying to upgrade the Shmira. If you're trying to upgrade the Shmira, it has to be more specific. The Machna Ephraim in Siman Ahel B'Shem Siman Aleph is Ma'arich. This takes the Yisrael and the Sivas further. He says if the Balabayis was makabel something in an oifen that it's muchach, all the various disparate, what's the right word? Nitunim. Are machchiach that he is mechuyev to be shemrit l'mashal. If you remember an example, this is very. Should remember the example of what constitutes actions and environments which include the chiyuv shmira. If a guy told him, I am going to another place, and the person said, okay, and he said, here's the suitcases, but that's not necessarily Shemayr Li, the Tekabel Ol Shmira, but he said, I'm going to San Francisco. And the Nifkat said, wonderful, have a good trip. And he dumped the suitcase in front of him, says the Machna Ephraim, he's the Chayiv of the Shemer. But if he told him twice over that, which one could say l'rega, that he can look at another place and he's not going to come to mafkid, won't come to him along with Torah Shmir at all, and that he's not a shemer, even if it was nishar b'yadai achakach. So you see, Rabbi say the achronim are medayik exactly what constitutes a chiyuv shmira. In Reish Sadik Aleph. This is explicated here. We're still in Sif Beis. We'll come up on Misha Hayap Haylech. Here you go, right in front of you. If you can use the marker, maybe it will help. On my print, it's in the bend, but here it's different. Misha Mahal, but therefore, Lechim Elabanal, Babla, Nitzim Kanal, Chamar, Venichim Shab. Like Kiblam Nifka Biada, Alkamai Shanich Lamaka Lachamar, Kacha Licham, like Kasham, Lachman Atzad, Lasna Kraglo. Went to the bathroom. Nothing has changed. Here we go. Avaniach Chamar, Alaim Hadarach. I'm on the third wide line. Not only is that a kabbalah shmira, because all the actions come together to create a kabbalah shmira. Not only that, you're a pesheya. You should have watched it. Dr. Ramad, what do you mean? This seems to be a direct contradiction to what we said earlier. Said Ramad, I mean, the Mamar Nachstam have a shem mechinam, ela b'machayim hamishtamer. Al b'derech. Or we take, it's the next page already. We take all the nitunim of the various things that are coming together, and you done it. That constitutes a kabbalah shmira. Listen, look at the Ramah. Vaday kibbal lishmar. Says Ramah, sadly, v'yesh choket. There you go. V'sfiru dafilu b'makim she'ena mishtam l'yam b'shem rechina man she'er menach l'fonai. Rabbi say, I'm just giving you a taste of the machlekes and the paiskim of the difficulties in how you create a shmira. One of the major sugyas that is going to be discussed in this concept of Yuve Shmira is the concept of the Kanas Mashiach B'Shem. The Gemara on Tzadik Tes Amud Aleph. Not sure we have it in the package. Hope we do. Sorry, Martha. Tzadik Tes Amud Aleph. The Gemara has, there it is beautifully. The Gemara has the following shaila. The Amar Ablas, bottom of the page. As you know, Chazal Metakin, one of the takanas of Kinyanim and Mashicha and Kinyanim is Mashicha. You schlepp the thing. Gemara in Baba earlier talks about how you mischai bites on which scenarios. Kach tikna Mashicha b'sham. Why does a shamer require Mashicha? Rabbi?
Because that's a Kenyan.
That's the Kenyan. The Mashiach is the Kenyan. It makes his responsibility.
The more in Bava Kama.
Hold on 1 second.
The Mishnah in Bava Kama.
Rukan, yes, I'm in the middle of the preparation here. Well, how can I help the Rav? No, I can't call you back. I will not be able to call you back. I'm going until 12. Excellent. Thank you very, very much. I can't tell you what.
You got to turn on your mic or something.
Says Tyson is very, very important. You say that when it comes to a Shem Rechinam, as we know, the only thing the Shem Rechinam is chayiv on is Pshia. Pshia does not require, says Tyson, a Kenyan. Why not? Did somebody tell me a love this here?
Mazik.
Say it loud.
He's a mazik.
Oh,
That's good. Oh, that's good.
He's applying a very sophisticated. You say that he knows from Milchah Israel. Hamazik. According to who? According to who?
According to
Maimonides.
the Rambam, correct.
Right.
From Ashak.
What's the problem with that? The Rabbi disagrees.
Then why? Yeah. So why is he parted by? Why is he parted by Baal Avimai? That's the question. Or the other way around. How could he be parted by Baal Avimai if he's a mazik?
Okay, we'll get to that presently. I just want to finish the introduction here. It says Taisus that we're not talking about Chiv Shmira. Why? Because in this case, a Chayiv, even if we said, as we said earlier you saw in the Mechaber, he said a Nachal Fanai. I just Chayiv by to come up. Hashem Mechinam like Meshach Chayiv Shia. That Achvan Hashem Mechinam. Who adin Shem Sachar. Begnei Baveda. Via Shel Kamar with the Raisa Namalei Kani Ela B'Meshicha. Lekla Memi the Kaya Asayfer Shetikna Meshicha. Like Kana Mois the Schiris Ena Mishtalemes Ela Libesayf.
Focus.
Why is a Shail only called Kainim Meshika with the rice? Somebody tell me that. Good morning. What's the love this era by say? I said it before. Because what happens to a Shail, as we said earlier? The Chayfetz gets what? Becomes his, right?
Yeah.
How can something become yours without what?
A Kenyan.
Zok Taisvis that a Shail Midaraisa needs a Kenyan. So Taisus has a kimta that's we're talking about Lina Chazara. The meaning once there were Moshe the Chayfetz, the Bailam cannot be Chayzer. Both Harabanim Weiss and Cohn are going to discuss this, and this is a very important yesod because even though it sounds technical, the concept of Shmira being a meeting of the minds, the concept of being Chayiv and Pshia implies, Reverses alumnus from Chaim aside of Pshimi Tamazik, implies that you agree to be a Shomer.
Eyeless.
Now, here, and this brings us to Machlokes Rishonim, are struggling to see what constitutes the meaning of the minds. Normally, in any Cheshmish, but you need a meaning of the minds has to be let us say with a Kenyan. Zak the Rush. The Chiv Shmira L'chaira what mi Ikra Din is Chal B'lay Kenyan. Why? Because there's a new halach when it comes to Shmira. As we saw earlier, we do Ayman Adas. Ayman Adas means we look at all the need to name, or Laz knows what I mean by that. What's the right when we show all the circumstances, right? All the circumstances, and therefore, meeting of the minds can be created without a Kenyan. Says the Rush. It's on Baba Kama Simon Tezvav. There you go. The Gemara, and he's focusing on our Gemara V'Shayil. So the Rush says that the side of the action that the Shayil began was to do the work, and then he's not allowed to be Chayzer. Pleaded Rabbi Lazar, Malaz Kedarish, for Tikkum Mashiach, but Kuchay Takshim Shich Meshayrim. The Shah Shamash Matzah Halei. What does that mean? You need Mashiach. And if you need Mashiach, it's a classical commercial transaction.
Yeah, can't go back. That's the issue.
Wow, here we have a bombshell. Says the Rush, to be Mischayiv ba'insin, even for Mashiach, how could that be?
There's no Kenyan. Yeah. No. There's
Well,
no
that means there's no
violence.
Kenyan. If you need a Kenyan, why can you be Mechayiv in anything before Mashiach? Teretz is, says the Rush, how we know that? As the Taisus says, the Amar the Halach Lefania V'Shem Mechinam. That already creates it. So we have this incredible bifurcation. According to Abulazar, you need Mashiach, you need a Kenyan, but for Schiyah B'Einsin, you don't need one. And the question is, how does that possibly work? So that goes to the side which the introductory Sherman Shemrim is going to be, how we and I'm just going to edit it this rush because we're running out of time here. Because we go down to 4 lines to the bottom of the shtickle. V'shvara gedola lechalek ben chazara lechia veinsin. Why? Barish, you want to give me a shot at this?
No,
No,
Okay. I'm not even going to hold it against you because this is one of the core shilas here. Rabbi said, Monafshach. It requires meeting the minds and tikkun mashiach b'shemrim. So why should the Chiyuv Einstein start earlier?
before.
well,
Tyson
when
Rush-
does it start? When does it start?
Who's that? You, Josh? Josh,
Barish.
get
Barish,
closer
what-
to the mic because I can't hear you well. I'm sorry.
When
I know.
does the Chiyuv Shmira start by Einstein? Why shouldn't it start by after Mashiach?
What do you mean? What do you mean? You made a Mashiach. Why should you not be chayiv? How could it possibly be chayiv earlier? So what you're saying is
Right. That's
somehow we
what
have
I'm
a
saying.
2-step process, and Hanach Lefani already creates the Chiyuv Shmira under the circumstances that you saw earlier in Ramah. So you chayiv Einstein already. Shver Zach, right? So the Rambam in Schiras Beis Ches codifies it in the following way. I'll show you the Chaysh Mishpat, and then I'm going to run out of time on the introductory shiur. I'm going to have to go to Hilchais Shayel. I'm check those right. Kederach shetiktum b'shicha l'kuchais kach tiktum b'shicha b'shayim. I hope we have this in our package. Meaning, can I wait to see if we have Beis Ches? You try a scroll job here. Beautiful. There we go. You know what? Somebody read this to me. My mouth is running dry. Rabbi Eliezer, you're
Kederach shetiknu chachamim b'shicha b'lekuchais. Just like by sales, there's a meshicha. Kach tiknu meshicha by shaimrim. Mashma is only a takana. It's not the midiraisa. Ha'omer lechaveiro shmor li zeh v'omer loy hanach lefan. I put it down in front of me. So he becomes the shomer chinam, even without the meshicha. Amaloi hanach lefanecha. Put you watch. Put it down in front of you. Or hanach stam. Put it down. Or shamalo hari abayis lefanecha. Here's the house. Eino loy shamachinam v'loy shamasacher. He's not makabel any type of achrayas. Ven shvua klal. Aval machrim amisha lokach apakadin shaloi. There's a chayrim on somebody who took a pakadin below lo yachzerenu lebaylam. He doesn't give it back to the baylam, even though he wasn't makabel any type of shmira. Became called tziyotziv. I'm not sure what the case is in this.
What does Harei Habayis Lefanecha mean?
You're muted, Rav Shlomo.
I don't know. Isn't that Baish part of Ashak?
So what does that mean? So l'chayre, that's the site of Kabbalah Shmir. So we know that's a Shem Rechinam. Amalei alach fanecha nachstam ein lo Shem Rechinam lo Shem Mesach ve'en chuyev shul klal. But machron, we made a special cher mishlokam kladin v'lo yavzil l'balam v'chein kliyat today. This is exactly the lashon Mechaber you saw.
Excuse
Okay.
me. What does
Says-
Harei
says the Maggid
Habayis?
Mishnah,
What does
one
Harei
second.
Habayis Lefanecha mean?
What is the words hanach l'fanai?
No,
No,
Harei Habayis.
Bias.
Lefanecha. What kind of response is that?
Okay, so my tire. Listen, here's 4 suitcases full of marijuana plants. Okay, I'm going on a trip there to Israel. It's all kosher these days, and I want you to watch this. Sure, my house is open to you.
Okay, understood.
Ah,
Okay.
okay, that's good. All right.
Well, let me ask you another question. Okay, more lemaisa. Can I park my car in your garage? Sure, my garage is open to you.
Beseder, thank you.
Am I a shayim or not?
That's very good.
Okay, says the Maggid Mishnah, memory of Rabbi Elazar, the Rambam paskin like Rabbi Elazar, the Tanya Kavase, Upira Shemayu Mashal Chayvetz Chaveiroi, Kivin Shemashach Hashay Lachayvetz, Ein HaMashal Yachar Lagzabai. V'chein b'nai Sachar. V'chein shemeschaya v'shemer ba'insin mishas meshicha v'loi kaidem.
Okay, then.
Torah by side. Does Ram hold like the Russian ass? The Mechlekes Rishonim by side. The Ram Paskins took the Mashiach b'Sheimer. Taisus told you that you mechuyev somehow mysteriously, which Rabbi was struggling to explain to me. You mechuyev, or I think it was, I forgot who else it was. You are mechuyev b'Einsin mitam Shia earlier. So we should have one night. So we have Mechlekes Rishonim. Yes, we do. Reish Sadik Aleph Sif Hey. Yesh Misha Eimer. Shashaimer Hazem Miyat Kishamakabel Olav Lishmoyer Oishamarach Lafalem and the Stalkua Bailim Mishmira Chayav Olav. So what is this concept of the Stalkua Bailim? It's a love this Rabbi side.
What does the answer say?
What does it mean? What does it mean?
It's Stalko Abayman. When they
What
went
does
on
it
a
mean? Now you hear this, Josh? You're smiling because you know you're about to get a Geshmak alumnus, which will that is really something money. Yes, outside. That's the pshat of Stockholm. So the best one owns the entire living. Right?
The Baalims. Right, guys, your bike is buzzing.
That's the buzzing.
You have to clear your voice.
I should clear my voice. Okay, I'm talking for an
Oh,
hour.
yeah, good. The guy says, here, take him, says, okay, and then the Baalim leave.
Yeah, he's going, went on a trip.
No. I'm trying to explain what the word Nistalko Bailam Mishmira means. So let me explain it, Rabbi say. Nistalko Bailam is the term of art, not just the Mitzvah, the guy who walks away. The Rabbi Shalom owns all chafatzim. He gave us the right to use them. Every chayfetz has an owner, unless it's hefker, which is a different question. Every chayfetz has an owner. Sometimes it's owned by shutfim. Sometimes there are multiple shutfim. In the case of a for instance, a Ma'aseh Tziburi, the shul that Rabbi Parkov davens in is owned by somebody, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have the entire multiple fights over these things throughout the ages. Somebody owns it. The Kehillah owns it. The shutfim own it. The participants own it. Everybody else owns something. So the Bailis is on this chayfetz. The shaila now is the stalku habayla meshmira. So what does that mean, Daniel? The stalku habayla meshmira. The people who own it now are saying, what do they say?
It's your
No, what do I say?
responsibility.
I no longer own it. It's therefore it has to be owned by
Responsibility.
somebody.
They did a handoff.
Right, it has to be owned by somebody. It's not hefker. They didn't say arei hefker lefanecha. So it has to be owned by somebody.
He doesn't say Kinyan, he says the Shmira.
It hurts Hashem. No, the Hashem owns everything. It doesn't matter whether I own or Yitzchak Menchik owns this pen that you have in front of you. It doesn't matter. The Hashem owns everything in the macro sense. The question is who he has given it the right to use.
But
Shmira means that therefore there's a meaning of the minds for the transferring into the other person's rishus.
only for Shmira.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Hefker. You say he takes off his bias. Doesn't take off his bias.
Well, it's a handoff.
Shmira. Yeah. He's not watching it anymore.
Excellent. Machlekes Rishonim right in front of your nose. Why? Because here the first shita holds yesh chayav in pasha af al pi shaloi mashach. Why? Because nistalku habayla b'shmira means now you have been makabel something. Enough to be mechabel, and that answers the question I asked Barish earlier. Where did the rush come to say yesh svar l'chalik? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Problem is we have a second shita, and this is not stam a shita of some obscure shita. This is the shita of whom? Ameinu Anesher HaGodoil, the Rambam. So take the Mashiach Misham, Farish Gemara. The Gemara does not argue with Rabbi Lazar. The Gemara says Kederach. When the Gemara says Kederach, that means there was a Chazal convened in some Aliyah space, Hanani ben, what's his name?
Gurion.
Hanani ben Gurion in Lud, and they decided to make the Kanai. So one of the Kanais they made was that a Shimer has to have Mashiach in order to avoid all the fights that inevitably come up here. So now we have a Machlekes Rishonim. What's the Machlekes Lumdus? What's the Lumdus of the Machlekes? The Rambam holds that Mistalik, a Shimer that's being Mistalik, is not sufficient.
But
Al
the
Gabor.
Bailam Mistalik here, not the
Notice that
Shomer.
withdrawn.
It says V'nistalko HaBailam.
Rabbi
It doesn't say
it's, you know,
V'nistalko
but I
the
tell
HaShomer.
you, when there's two sheets,
By
it's
turning it
Shayil
over to the
and
Shomer.
Abba.
They
Rabbi, so we have to move to
withdrew.
Shayil here. Question from the floor. Yes, Yitzchak. So the question on the floor is, can a shamer cancel the responsibility? Generally, no. In order to cancel the responsibility, well, then let's Ilam answer this question. If Yitzchak Meshach wants to know, Dr. Yitzchak Meshach wants to know, can a shamer cancel the responsibility? Lozak Shmuel Yosef.
If he notifies the Baal and there's an acceptance.
And what? And what?
And the Baal accepts it, takes it back.
Right. So
He
maybe
accepts the Shmira.
make a reverse Kenyan. Maybe the Baal would have to be kinded
Reverse.
back. You're right. You have to be kinded back. Right. So Stamazai doesn't work. In Shin Mem, now moving to Chashal or Rabbi Sai, I'm in about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to start a major cram in of overview of Hilchos Shayel. So in Shin Mem, this is what a seep here in Shayel, the Mechaber brings down this issue of Takana Mashicha, the guy Shayel. Shayel Be Mechayiv is an Esea when? So the Gemara said before, and even though it's called on Shalai, the Bailam didn't agree to feed it. So what do? When is it Mechayiv to feed it? Mishasha Mashcha Seif Meshilta. Who's he passing like?
The Rambam.
No, Rabbi say. We just said it. No.
Rambam.
Rambam. However, it comes when Ramban tells you not so fast. There's a rush. So this is one of, I don't know, so far probably 6, 7, or 8 machlekes in the Rambam, the rush that we've encountered in the last month.
Right.
Yes, I remember like being a Mashiach. Oh no, what? Somebody else read me this Ramban so geschmack. Who wants to read it for me? Josh, are you able to read this Ramban in front of me, your thing here? Because you brought it up earlier. Yes, I remember. The Ramban, make the Ramban yellow for someone to read for me.
The lobby Miyat Nistal Kabayin Ba'ayin
Oh, here we go. The same machlekes again. Everybody see this?
Yeah.
Is siluk sufficient to create? I keep on using the
an
word
obligation.
an obligation, not more obligation. Meaning the minds and shmir, yeah, a meaning of
Meaning the minds,
minds,
right.
but kind of shmir, and therefore, Reb Josh, and therefore an obligation. Same machlekes.
No, it only talks about it Mizainis. He's not talking about the Chiyuvi Shmira. He's talking about Mizainis. Since
No,
he's
of course,
you have to feed it.
but we understand he's talking about Mizainis. But the Mechaber is using this. This is we saw the Gemara. You saw the Gemara. That's when he becomes the Chiyuv V'Shayel come in. So now the Achronim ask Stira in Shayla, the Mechaber was say something like the Rambam. You're not Mechayiv without a Kenyan, as we saw. Maybe just stop giving up, bringing to Shaylas. How could that be?
Hold that even with the
This is the Mechaber we're talking about. It doesn't work the way. There's no playtest kulmus with the Mechaber had a chavrusa. Anybody know who this chavrusa was?
The Magid.
A Magid. It wasn't Stam a Magid, the Heintig Magidim. This chavrusa was a Malach. So you're not talking about regular people. So the Mechaber, every single word Mechaber it comes from the Ruch Kodesh. That's why I was so fascinated when Rabbi Deitch said the Mechaber changed between the Beis Yosef and the Mechaber by introducing desire, not for now. But here is the Shalom, the steer in the Mechaber. The Mechaber here passes like the Rami not Mechuy without a Kenyan. Ramah, that Josh read us, brings the rush, that you can be Mischayel Aidei. What was the word? What was the phrase? Shenestal Kul Habayim. Shenestal Kul Habayim. So what do? So the Shach says, we got a problem here. We printed the tzais here, but I'll read you guys the Shach. The Shach says that we got stira. So how do you solve this? You can't. And therefore, there's a principle in Choshen Mishpat called Kimli. Which means that the Muktzah is able to say Kimli like the Rambam, which until there's the Mashiach, I'm not chayav. Zok Nesiv is not so fast. This is true by all other Shayrim except for Shayl. Shayl's are different. Shayl is a exception. says the Shach here, as in Nesivus close to Shach, Miach and Stalku, reading from Ishmael Yosef, small Nesivus on the right side.
והמוחזק יכול לומר קימלי כרמב"ם.
Anybody know what the principle of Kimli means? Maybe not. Should I explain it?
You're going with whatever you can take.
Well,
What do you
can
think is
I,
rational?
one second. Can I say Kimli in your idea? The pot is not
No.
not traced because there's some one sheet to somewhere in one of the new printed Rishonim which holds it's kosher. You can't do that. There's a concept in Chaysh Mishpah called Kimli because of the aforementioned tension, right word, aforementioned tension between litigants. Chazal created a situation where if you have, and there's the Hilchos Kimli are vastly complicated. Maybe you can have one of the others speak to that, but the
It would
Shach
be
tells
like
you
going, it'd be like going into Supreme Court and asking the court.
I can't, you're right, but I can't be marking this not because we were questioning how many times. So I'm gonna reserve the words of Kimli for another time. Let's see the Shiur here, because this is important as an introduction into Shayil. Yesh Layim. I think we did this in the introductory thing. We might look at this, but nobody knew what Shayil was all about. And now Kimli works with Hamaitzi Mechaver. Yes. You asked me whether Kimli works together with Hamaitzi Mechaver. So excellent question by Ritzvi. So again, Ritzvi, I'm asking Rishus not to go too much into Kimli, but as you can see, the Muhzik, the Shach says, the Muhzik can say Kimli ka Rambam. So Ritzvi wants to know, does that mean only a Muhzik can say Kimli? No, Lav Dafka. Lav Dafka. Both litigants have a right to say Kimli. However, under certain circumstances, the Amaitz Mechaver of Araya, Gabi Muhzik, still pertains. Says the Nesivus. Yesh la'ayim b'shol shlei mashach. V'gam lo yesilik shmira v'nishna mishba. The end of the Metzias here by side. Beautiful Metzias.
Right.
The whole Shiur was worth it just to learn this and see it together with you. You're going to Shal Saf. Here's the story. You can all start screaming me, what such a Metzias is it? So it says in the Nesivus, I'll tell you that a very particular case. You borrowed a Safsal Leishol b'chotzer hamashal. You borrowed a Safsal to sit on it, but the place where you were going to sit on it was in the Chotzer Mashal. You never took the Safsal. It's very hard to schlep a Safsal. What's the riot to that, Rabbi Say? Yom Shabbos, right?
Right.
Other Mishnah Kisev Safsal, you make the Charitz, that's a Pasha. So the guy says, you know what, can I sit down on your couch here in your Rishus? Much more prevalent. I say for a little mid mimenu. V'lama mimenu b'loy hagba.
Instead of sitting on the table.
Yeah, or whatever. The Sefer is always more problematic. I don't know how you can learn a Sefer without picking it up. But you certainly can learn a Sefer without making a Mashiach. You just opened it up. You didn't pick it up, you just opened it up, or was sitting on the table, right? Whoever said it. But then this guy very probably he's poured coffee on his flistery shine of a Kinabo of a Gemara. Near Lafini's daiti devade chayev bezeh. He brings a raya from the Gemara Bab Kama from Bikabai. Because of Shita Kubetzes, I'm editing this because we gotta go fast. Had the Mashiach Machai ba'insin after I take the Mashiach b'sheimer. The Kalmakai Chai ba'insin b'shim the Kabbalas Hanosh or Shayil having a kesef. But Nazu Machai atzam b'achrais. Everybody hear this? Lumdus here in the series. A new lumdus. What does that mean? The guy b'shayla the shtamshus is a kinyan, even without a Mashiach. So then Siva takes the Gemara and upends it. And the Gemara says, "Take the Mashiach b'sheimer." It doesn't mean for a shayel. Not even silik shmirik is what the guy to a shayel. What the guy the shayel dash the Gemara called a shalai. And if you have, I know you can yell at this remarker that will line two down. You're sufficiently which is the hallmark of what a shayl is. The Kabbalah Sanashal Shayla Kesa Bana Zu Mechayev Atzmai Bachrayis. So the Bika by Chayev Einstein Afil Buller Mashiach Da Ikar Nas Shimish David Kabbalah's Kesa.
Yeah. But how you know?
So I have a question that I don't think it's come up yet. How is Shayla different than Matan Amanat Lahachzir?
Good kasha. That's a sugya in Ilchas Lulav, which we learned in an El, which I don't have time to go into right now. The basic is that the Matan Las Ma'achzer is a matana with a tanai embedded into it, but it's a matana. And the she'ela, yes, the lumdus implies that you now own the chayfetz, and you can therefore think that it's a matana. But in a matana lahachzer, it's a matana, and therefore you're not chayiv b'neinsid. A she'ela is only a transfer of ownership as much as the chiyuv Einstein implies. Rabbi said there's about 15 more things that I would have to discuss this morning just on Kabbalah Shmira and the concept of becoming a Shomer, but I don't have any time now, sadly, to go into Shomer Sachar, but because I want to concentrate here a bit on Shayel, so we will have a better idea of what Rabbi Khan is talking about. So let's go over to Hilchah Shayla. For that, I need to move quickly into the other packages so we can talk about Shayla. Those of you on the night Shiur, you would have had some look at this. So I'm going to go very quickly. Or Mark said, let's go to the other two packages. Let's start
Take
with
me to the Sivas also by a Shomer Socher? Or is it
True.
only by a Shoyel?
True. What's the concept of Shomer Sachar? What's the difference between a Shoyel and a Shomer Sachar? The obvious difference is that Shomer Sachar is a Shomer with Chiyuv Shmira, and a Chiyuv to return it, and a higher degree of Chiyuv because he's getting paid. A Shoyel has to return it too. And a higher degree of Shmira because Kolana Shalai.
Does a shayl swear on his piturim or not? I'm ball of Imai, a Moisamachas Malacha. Does the shayl have to swear on that? You didn't mention that.
Oh, we sure did, my Tyra. This is a Shayal the Ktsaisa Chayshin and the Sivas and Mishpat. We sure did mention that. I'll get Chazra with you half time. Well, I'll show you inside room first. I'm just waiting for Mordechai to put on the other Mara Makaimis, which came from the other. Give me a timing here, because I should know if I can talk in the meantime. Or I guess it's random when they able to come up. I'm going to start talking because we don't have too much time. Let's start with the psukim on Shayel.
Okay, I'll put up the psukim.
Well, they're in the first pack. They're in the Shayel package. They're in the Mesa Machlamacha package. Should be right there at the top, or even the Balavime package. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's in the Mesa Machlamacha. I want to start with Mesa Machlamacha since most of the action will be Mesa Machlamacha. Couldn't be Stalik from Shmir and Bailam, so Rabbi Friedman is going to speak about that. What I really should do is start with the Hachanah Kaddish and Shmir and Bailam. So if you can put up the Shmir and Bailam, I would even do that one. It doesn't matter. No, this is the psukim from the other package. I need, in order to machine gun through the form of Chlaikasin of the Rishayim, I need the package of the what we call the Elamis package. Beautiful.
This is the Mesa Machas Malocha package.
Back to Rabbi, it doesn't have the psukim here. Okay, so I'll read. Thank you. That's why you put the psukim on, of course. Always I should have read the psukim out earlier, and that would have just saved us the time. Here you go. And so Ramatcha, it was right. Here's the psukim on Shail, and Rashi explains. Let's scroll down here. I'm sorry, everybody. Side today was complicated because we're trying to coordinate 4 different packages, and it's not easy. And only YYK could straighten this all out. But Yishel says Rashi, where'd you see that? Would anybody see that in the pasuk? What does it say? Shel Chai Baisin. What's the answer? It says Shal Mishalei, and doesn't say that there is the Turim as it is in Shem Hachanah or Shem Sachar. So it must be Yechai Baisin. Where did it say that? Baal of Imai, and the next 3 Rashis go through the halachas of Baal Imai, but I want to start with what's not in the pasuk. What's not in the pasuk, the halachas of Mesa Machas Malacha. So Mesa Machas Malacha is one of the 2 major Turim, and it's the reason I'm starting with that, even though, frankly, Shmir Babaylam is a bit more lumdish, because Mesa Machas Malacha, most of the shilas here, including the famous story of when Zerah Chashav a cat. The Gemara here takes the words of Hashayel Kol Shlomo and extends it a little bit more. The Gemara wants to know you borrowed a behema, and it got depreciated. So the Gemara says, "Is this Kemesa Machas Malacha? Name alav looking bekil to shalte." That's what Mesa Machas Malacha is, because when the Shayel borrowed it, the underlying concept of Shmira includes a Schiyah Ba'inst and includes the Lav Ukma Bekilta She'ote. When the Shayel is borrowing it, and maybe this is the Aramaic tushtel of Lav of Kolana Shalai, I didn't borrow it to keep it in a kilta. I borrowed it to use it, and therefore inherent in the borrowing transaction was a concept that I'm going to use it. So the Gemara says, not only kichesh is pater, but mesa mach malacha pater d'amlei labu ukim bekilta shaltei. So this is the basic principle of mesa mach malacha. And then the Gemara goes into stories. 3 stories. Who governed shol nagra mechavere? Each bar. Asal kaderova. Amalei zils is icy sadi. The lav shonis bay ve'ifter. Bring me witnesses that you have not been Mishana. This is what was earlier referred to by, I think it was Shmuel Yosef, that if you are Mishana, even a Shayel is Chayiv, because the words Kol Hana Shalai, even though there is that concept, you still have inherent in the borrowing transaction, that is the meaning of the minds of the Shalom and Mashal, that the borrowing can be done on certain conditions. And what are those conditions? Whatever they are. You can't be Mishana. And the classic example we always use, you borrow a regular car, you can't use it off-road. I'm going to give you one of my favorite cases because it's a real-life case which happened to a friend of mine. Paskadis Shaila. The guy went to fill up gas at the famous gas station on the Yitzhak Yerushalayim, and he left the car on, which in America, I do all the time while the gas is filled. They tell you to close the car. Too much of a hassle. I leave the car on. I'll even go into the store to buy something in America. Because the expectation is that the gas station has been makabel shmira, that they're not allowed to, they're not allowed to allow people to come onto the gas station and steal it. So when we said this in the night cases, this is what happened. Anyone may or may not have heard this story before. It's a Geschmacka story. So my friend, name is Zach, rented a car. It was a Seicher. It wasn't a shayla, he rented a car. And he went to fill up gas at that gas station. And he was thirsty, so he went to the convenience store there to buy something. By the time he came out, the car was gone. And they later found it subsequently in Ramallah. Okay. Not a good place to have your car disappear to. You heard the story, Daniel? He said it was a spirited discussion as, okay, it's a Seicher, so let's put aside the contract, which written by the rental company, which is very stringent. Let's put aside the Malchus and all that. But let's analyze it from Hilchos Choshen Mishpat. Who's chayiv? So everybody started screaming, wow, what an idiot, he left the car on. Maybe. And therefore he's a pesheya. And therefore, Avada, he's chayiv. But yes, we know that. I agree. The rules are you're supposed to turn it off. Fine. But Lamaisa, if I took a poll in America on this call, yes, not so great to keep the engine on while the gas is being filled. But everybody here has done this before.
Nope.
Okay.
They stay in the car.
Okay, they stay with the car. But on the other hand, where was the car, Yitzchak? Whose reshus was the car?
They don't take responsibility. when you-
Oh, Yitzchak says, who says they take responsibility for Gneva? Why not? Can I ask you a question?
You
Can
can't
you set
approach
up
it
a tent?
unilaterally.
Can you set up a tent on the gas station and say, I want to sleep here tonight? Not a nisht.
That's trespass.
Why? Because that tent, that gas station belongs to somebody, right? So why Michash Mishpat by saying Nish Balabatis? Dayana Shaft. And I'm not saying everybody's wrong here. Maybe it is the Pshia.
Yes, sir, there have to be a
What I'm
Kabbalah.
trying to do is I'm trying to give you kindness. I'm the
They
entire
invited you in.
I would say
There was no Kabbalah
I
Shiur
would
by the
say
gas
the
station.
gas station. Take away the fact that it was the entrance to Yerushalayim. A gas station near Lakewood, New Jersey. Okay,
They
there's
invite
not-
you in.
There's not a chiyuv, inherent chiyuv shmira, that the guys at the gas station are not allowing marauding bands of thieves to come onto the air. Rishus, how do you know? And I'm paying you to do I'm paying you to do a service for me. So what are the guys in the gas station here? What are they, Lamaisa? Which of the chiyuv shemrim? What are they?
They're Bailam and they invited
They're
you
nothing.
into
There's no
their gas
Kabbalah
station.
Shiur. They're nothing.
Where's the Kenyan?
Nothing, there's no
Nothing.
island, there's nothing, there's no Messiah.
You know, you don't need a Kenyan. There's a welcome sign. They invited you
There's
into
no
their
Kabbalah's
property.
Kenyan. There's no
Oh,
Kabbalah's
you
Kenyan.
went in there.
But what did we spend the last 45 hour and a quarter discussing? Maybe you don't, that's the Rambam. Maybe you don't need a Kabbalah's Kenyan specifically. Maybe if the Nitunim says in the Sivis, the lead, 1 second, lead to an implied Kabbalah's Kenyan, an implied Chiyuv Shmira, then they're chayiv. I'm just putting this on the table. I say, I gotta tell you, the reason why silence is the question again, because everybody loves it, because they're excited, because you can scream at each other and go through all the sides, which is not true the case in necessarily time right there. So you're all screaming, it's Pashut Azai. I'm not telling you that I'm going to be behind this gas station. I'm telling you that that's what I'm telling you. So maybe inherent in going into a gas station is that you can't let Palestinian terrorists onto your rishus. Maybe they have a chiyuv of shmira. What, they have no chiyuv whatsoever? What happens if chas v'shalom? Let me ask you a question. What happens chas v'shalom? They put the gas into the thing, and the guy put it in the wrong way, and a fire ensues, your car's burned down. You'll putter because they didn't want makabel shmira. That what
And
you're telling me?
then that's a dime.
No. Forget that as being dying. There was an inus. They put the thing in, and the whatever. Don't mix it has be dying here. I'm asking you, midinei chiyuve of shleimer.
Patromionson.
They're patromionson. So you're saying that anything happening on it is geneva and aveda, and they're patromionson. That's what you're telling me. Okay. Because you're saying at most they're shemer sacha, correct? At most, because they're getting 1 second, they're getting paid for the gas. So at most, you're saying they're a shemer sachar. But a shemer sachar
Wait, wait, they're getting paid for the gas. They're not getting paid to watch the car.
Yeah, so,
So where does the Shomer Sacher fit in?
but I'm asking you.
Money,
if
the
they're
money is
paid-
that nothing has anything to do with Shmira.
I asked you this a few weeks ago, Rabbi, and I said it in Bava Kama. If somebody invites you into his premises, he's chayiv. He's Makabel Shmira for the Zeke and for everything. So why doesn't that work to make them a chayiv? They say, "Welcome, come to my gas station, take my gas."
Suppose there's no people there, it's no attendance, just self-service.
Except in New Jersey.
Yeah, but they still invited you in. They want you
How
to
did
come
you
in.
win? By keeping the
It's
light on.
bershus. It's bershus.
Why did I say this? You can all scream at each other. I can give you tinies and count tinies on each one. Some of them are good, some of them are not good. Some of them you know the underlying stuff, some you don't know the underlying stuff. But Lamaisa, the bottom line is that yeah, I would say Mustair Mechara because it's reasonable to argue that the rule somewhere, even though I don't know where it says, is there a sign which says in all gas stations turn off your car? Is there a sign that says?
Yeah, in Michigan, the machines say turn off your car before filling.
Okay, it doesn't say it here in New Jersey. Maybe because
New
New
York it
Jersey.
does.
But
As a
New
tenant.
Jersey, you don't fill your own car.
Exactly. So they have a higher degree of shmira, right? L'chaira. They have a higher degree of shmira, and the Shomer Sachar is a much higher degree. So it's. I would say.
Can we put a different spin? Put a
There was
different spin.
trouble somewhere. Yeah.
You're shopping at a grocery store. Your wife leaves her pocketbook in the cart. She runs over to a different aisle to get something, and she comes back. Her pocketbook is gone. The Bala bus is responsible for Geneva. He invited you in. He came to my store. I'm doing my shopping. Does he have a responsibility to be a shomer on a buggy that she left there with stuff in it?
So I would say, as I can spin it to you in different ways. If you walk into a store, there could be not a grocery store. Maybe you walk into an exclusive clothing store. I can hear that the guy can kinda that you should have kept the door. You should have had somebody watch the door, not allowed outside people in. Why is that so pashut?
There's
Why
a
not?
difference between the
It was another
shmira.
shop. Wasn't outside guy. It was another shopper.
The purpose of the shmira
It
is
all depends
the
on what.
balabayas,
It
not
all
necessarily
depends on what the chayiv shmira is. Rabbi say, why am I bringing this up? Why did I bring this up? I'm just trying to explain to you that there's so many different nitunim that go into chayiv shmira that it's each case is under its own song. We only have a few minutes. Rabbi Khan is coming here, so let's try to finish. Who gave the shalom narga mechavrei? Ispar asal kamida rava amale zil isisadi the left shonis beve ifter vilekasadi my tashma the gave the shalom narga mechavrei the ispar asal kamida rav amale zil shlim le narga maalya amale of kanarvasi larav dina hachi v'shasik rav vilchasik rav kana ravasi the mahadale tare mamale demei mana. Case number 1. Case number 2, Governor Shovel Davla. This is a bucket, Mechavre. Itbard broke. Also, Kamra Papa. Only icy sided Loishanisabai. Again, the same Yisoid. If you're Mishana, then any Patur, Mesmak Malacha would be lifted. Who Gaver, the Shol Shunra Mechavre. Here we go with the cat. Got to get the cat in. Chaverle Achbre Vikatlua. Yasser Vasher Kum Gaimblay. Yai Gavna Mai. Kimecha Makas Malacha Dami. Eloi. Amaler Mutler Avashi. Hachayam Ravima Grunya, Mishmeda Rava. Gavar Danashi Katlua, Laydina Vlaydaina. Mysterious Gemara. What's going on here? Second Matthias in this cat ear is Ikita Amri, Achal Achbaratuba Vachava Mumes. Yasser Vashi Vakayam Baiba, Kahai Gavna Mai, Amler Mutler Avashi, Acham Ravima Grunya, Gavar Danashi Katlu, Laydina Vlaydaina.
What's the word
Rashi.
dami?
If they're davli meisa machs malacha, yes.
How is it
I gotta go
kimesa
quick.
machs malacha dami? Just kimesa machs malacha. Why dami?
Okay, because I'm a dummy for not being able to explain to you what do you say to that says. Rashi says, "Tema my Taisa Tema Ma'ikam Halemesa Machs Malacha Halemesa Machs Malacha Yesh Leima Di Bayale Im Shinam B'Masha Alicha Lamakam Shahar Bar Mitzuyin Aval Ein Lishmar Shaloi Hargay."
Well, that's interesting.
So what's Tosa saying? That the borrower says, I need to borrow your cat so I can get rid of the 2 mice that are in my house, and it turns out there's 20? We said I just need your cat to get rid of the mice, then what's Tosa's position?
Yes and yes. Let's go down. Very good. 2 reciters in the Gemara. Let's scroll down here. Dr. Rush. Mesa Machs Malacha. Hainu Kigain Shaderach Ilucha Nichshala V'Nafal Umesa. Leishel Le Pasha V'Le Pishaba. I the Zegeo Umneschamo Mesa. Avla Mesa B'Derech. V'Le Hir Gishpa. Eifris Terech Derech. Le'Yuchal Lishava Shamesa Malacha Machs Malacha. Fine. Why? Shamem Haisa Medes Alavusa. Haisa Mesa would have died anyway. Neichash Nichnas Ba Ifus V'Chalishus Mitarech Haderech. Afilo loy mesa miyad alaysa lechas msneveves mamruba mesa mlachs mracha karina bay.
That's
That he argues with the Rambam.
Says the Shita. Let's scroll down here. A startling Shita of Rabbeinu Ramban. What is the side of the tour of Mesa Max Malacha? Now that we've established that Mesa Max Malacha, and we had 4 cases in the Gemara, what Mesa Max Malacha is. The 2 Kimtis within the cat. Is the cat is Mesa Max Malacha either because the cat should have not eaten all the Akbar, or he ate Akbar, or the cat was, etc., or the Akbar ganged up on the cat to Lushan into the Gemara. But what's the side of the tour of Mesa Max Malacha? Says the Shita Mikabetz brings a Shita Sarabban. Yesh Leimar. I'm sorry if I say, for those of you who are new to them very fast, but because the decided this is just to go do an overview, and we'll have to get to the details in Meretz Shem Behemshach. But I need to tell you this Shita Sarabban because this Shita Sarabban is very important. So far, we've seen that Mesa Machs Malacha is the Svara. Lav the ukma b'shilta kamtia. So even though a shayl is kol hana shalai, yes, a shayl is chayiv ba'insin, but yes, a shayl is pater machos mesa machs malacha. But what's the say to this Torah? Says the Ramban. I'll tell you what the side of the Torah is. The side of the Torah is because the shayl ba'ad chayiv ba'insin. Allah b'pshiyah the mashal. The kan mashal pasha ba sheshnidu lamacha. He Aina Yachayla Lizbal Isamalacha. The marshal was Pesheya because he was marshal for Malacha, and he can't be Saival this Malacha. So what's going on here? So the Ramban tells you that the of Mesa Machs Malacha mysteriously transfers the onus and the responsibility from the shayla to the. You hear that, Josh?
Yep.
How does that work? I don't understand. Why am I getting messed up here? What'd I do?
You're underestimated.
There it is. Somehow, inherent in the shayla contract is
you stand in my place.
Well, I mean, the lumdus, the language is very strong, but the lumdus is tarachian. Kan mashal pashama shashila la malacha v'hi ein echai lizbayel eisa malacha. Mashal got off from saying no to a request.
What's the sewed in the contract?
What?
You said inheritance in the contract.
Inherent in the contract is that the mashal gives the shayl something, which is, I don't know what word to use, usable, something which he can use, which will not die on him, and therefore, if it dies on him, it's not just that the shayl is putter. It's not just that the shayl is putter. That's the way the other Rishonim learn. What is it? The mashal is chayiv.
It's almost that the Mashal
No.
was Mishana. He gave an insufficiently usable item to then the expectation of the Shoel.
In Mechira terms, I mean, like a person who says it's, Mekach toes. Here's the Shayla's toes. It seems like it's a similar type of concept to me. It's a
Okay.
Shayla toes.
Sagt Rab, oh, interessant. Interessante Svara. Sagt Rav Shlomo, that maybe it was a she'elim toys, because the shayl says, I wanted to borrow something that I can use. You gave me a decrepit thing that was going to broke down. Therefore, there was never a schayvis on my part to be mischayiv on the main thing that the shayl is chayiv on, and einsin. Let's assume that the breakdown can be categorized as an einsin, and it was a she'elim toys. Beautiful pshat, beautiful pshat. Okay. We'll see if Rabbi Seinu Achrayim go into this, but first we have to see one or two more languages of the Rishonim. I'm waiting for Rabbi Khan to come in. Not sure when that will be. Soon will be within the next 5-6 minutes. But some people come on expecting rabbis. They're not aware that he's not scheduled today. I can't help that. They have to read the emails which went out at least 3 times. We're going to get Rabbi Khan, who is a Goyin Agadol, and they'll learn something about Choshen Mishpat. Rabbi Weiss announced clearly last week that he's not available this week. He will be on archivally next week, but he's not available this week. The marshal obligated to give him an alternative for the remaining days of Shaila. Ooh, what a Shaila, what a good Shaila. They gave him this car and it broke down. Is the marshal required to give him another car?
Yeah,
What they'll say to that? What they'll say to that?
The agreement was to use this car for a period of time. That he can't retract, the marshal. But to replace it,
I don't think he has an obligation.
Well, it's like with a Corbin.
Not with a
Does he
broken
need a car to use, or does he need this car?
What to use?
The excellent Shaila, and we'll have to understand how that goes into the basic Shaila contract. And what did he say? Did he say, I want to borrow this car? Then L'chayr Eliezer, no. If he said, I want to borrow one of your fleet of cars,
I need a car.
yes, a car, and you have 3.
Yeah, it's like a Corbin.
Right here.
Chayav Achus or not.
Yechayev Bachrayis. Okay, says the Shita. V'hasha asinu lahachi dafki shalei hichbed shayel b'malachta. Aval hichbed malachta chayev shayel. Good, that we understand. The shayel was mishana, v'chayev shayel. If they gave the cat too many mice, is chayev shayel. The shayel is chayev. Keinim chayil sa'acha shayela. Why? That's not Mesa Max Malacha. Because you should not have done what he did. The thing was sick, car was sputtering, and you decided to use it anywhere. V'leishna achar mikam is leishla k'divrei Rambam. Shlomo k'divrei Rambam shekasa dafka shemesa b'shas malach. Here we have a major machlekes in the Rishonim Rabbi say. The Rambam says that you have to be dafka mesa b'shas malacha. The Einenachai ukdidayik lishn the Gemara kol shkein lefum time the kasim la'el. Avla Rashba kasav is elishayna nearly. The Heineken Tame the Rava, the Vadiman, the Mashal Parla Chavera, Malamalacha, made the Yada Davida Lakuchi Bipsara. Inherent in the Shail contract is a understanding by the Mashal that there's going to be depreciation.
Deterioration.
As the Gemara says, the law of looking Bekil Tisha Olay. Vafilachi, Laisamle, Mikara Bekichsha. Became the law of Bekichesh Kapid, Af Ben Mesa Machas Malacha, Nami like Kapid. The Mali Katla Kula, Mali Katla Palda. What's Mesa Machas Malacha?
But isn't this different than the Meshach Chochmah Chumash?
We discussed that, yeah. First Mesa Machmas Malacha, Hainu Shemesa Machmas Uftsina. Relation Mesa Ba'odaisa Malacha. And on Mesa Machmas Malacha Arminan, Mesa B'Malach.
We need to disagree with the Rambam.
I think he says it.
Yeah.
Ram Shakasa, Mesa
So according to the Rambam, the moment you unhitch the cow and he drops, your putter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Where is Rabbi Khan? Okay, let's go down to says the Rambam. Read me the Rambam Shlomo, since you took possession of it. The
Where? The yellow?
No, the top.
Yavad o nigna v'filu nenas ones gadol kagon shenishbra behema o shenishbeis o mesa chayv l'shalem hakol shenamar v'chi yishal adam meimrehu v'nishbar o meis balav ein yimo shom shalem. B'medevar murim b'shenena shelo b'shas malacha, when it's not during the actual work. Well, imshal behem mechavero lacharosh ba'umesa kishehi choreshes hareza potter. If it happens when he's under the yoke, then he's off the hook. The shoel. Avali mesa kodem shiachrosh ba. Oh, Rabbi couldn't be any more explicit. O achar shecharash ba. O sherachav alei. O dash ba. Mesa kishehi dasha. O bishash v'chiva hareza chayv l'shalem. V'chen koyoti b'zeh. Wow. So Rambam's not even taking the phrase machmas malacha; he's taking the b'shas malacha. He's not even taking the phrase as it's used in Chazal.
And the shayl beim mechaver lelich balamakam pleni umesa tachta by saderach. Aisha shal dli lamalas by nikr b'bar b'shas milui. Aisha shal carbon lefel by lefatzel by eitzim. And nishba b'aisha patzel by machmas b'kul v'chol t'yetzar zay pato or. So shall I allow lashes malach hazul v'harei loy shana.
Yep.
Okay, Rabbi Khan, where is he? He was here in a second. Come to Ryan quite a dime. Where is he?
Somebody came in from.
Yeah. Okay, Rabbi Sai. So for those of you here on the Zoom, we have the privilege here. We're having a little bit of a shinoi. Instead of Bama Minchas Asher traveling today, we have a very chashuv replacement. Hagoyin of Dov Khan, Reish Bezdin of Bezdin Misharim, who will be Mahanas also in Eretz Yisrael. So I asked him to help with the preparation here. We're talking about Hilchos Shayil, right? You have specific Marim Kaimis. We have a lot of them, but not all of them. But okay, it'll come along as it goes. It'll come along as it goes. Okay. So yeah. So I had the story with the car that was stolen from the gas station. Hachanah is going to come and give you numerous, I'm sure, other fascinating stories, which will add to your Havana of Hilchos Shayil. Let me